I now call this meeting of the Board of Education to order at 7:15 p.m. Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson, Mr. Schubert.
Here.
Ms. McCall.
Here.
Ms. Bennett.
Here.
Mr. Carpenter.
Here.
Ms. Haley.
Here.
Ms. Stanford.
Here.
With 6 present, 1 absent, we have a quorum.
We'll now take a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. As we start each board meeting, it bears reminding that the mission of the Rockford Public Schools is to collaboratively engage all students in an equitable, first-class education for a changing world. I wish to welcome the Superintendent Student Advisory Council Representative, Jessica Garcia from Auburn High School. We will now recognize and celebrate outstanding contributions of our students and staff.
Where's my man? Okay. All right, here we go. Good evening. Now that school's back in full swing, we're excited to honor RPS 205's outstanding students and their coaches to celebrate their great achievements. Our students, staff, and coaches have been very busy so far this school year. Please come forward to be recognized after you hear your name and or event that you participated in. And if I mispronounce your name, I am truly sorry. We'll start first with academics. Auburn High School seniors, Ashley Ferry, Juan Lynn, and Brielle Rock are semifinalists for the prestigious National Merit Scholarship. These academically talented students have an opportunity to continue in the competition for some 7,140 National Merit Scholarships worth nearly $28 million. That will be offered next spring. Congratulations and good luck in the next round. Awesome. Okay. Auburn High School senior, Ashal Samir received a perfect composite score of 36 on the ACT exam. This achievement is not an easy feat. After graduation, Ashal hopes to pursue medical research in the field of oncology. Congratulations. Great. Major General Antonio Manuera visited Auburn High School to present scholarships of more than $300,000 combined to 2 JROTC cadets. Senior Sean Beckford has chosen to attend the University of Illinois, and Cadet Joseph McGrail will be attending the University of Missouri. The presentation took place during the JROTC Symposium, where 25 vendors showcased their services to students in the JROTC program. Next is athletics. Congratulations to the 5th grade team at Hillman Elementary for their first place finish in the Rockford Elementary Soccer League. Thank you to our principals, coaches, and volunteers for their hard work and continued dedication.
Congratulations. 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 Thank you for being here.
Both Riesa Middle School varsity and JV soccer teams went undefeated all season long and finished in first place in the Rock River Athletic Conference. Way to go. Nobody? Oh, here we go. Oh, a bunch. Nice.
Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Great job. Congratulations. Great job. Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Great job. Congratulations. Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Great job. Congratulations. Great job.
It's a lot of them. Yeah, 2 teams. Earl's going to run out of pins. A shout out to the following middle school athletes who qualified for state and cross country. For Eisenhower, Zach Andrews, Reagan Bakta, Alex Brockwell, and Carter Rudolph. For Flynn, Evan Janvik, and Marshall, Seth Reinold and Nora Wedwick.
Congratulations. Great job. Great job.
We also have a high school boys cross-country state qualifier from Guilford High School, Brandon Lawson. No? No? High school girls tennis state qualifiers for Guilford. Boy, I'm gonna say these really bad. Sorry. Habiba Kamel, Yeva, Kensa Fantova, Lacey Belknap, Mackenzie Larson, Lexi Whitham, and Amelia Roon. And for Auburn Auburn girls tennis state qualifiers, Avery Trapp, Addison Fang, and Rebecca Wang.
Great job. Congratulations.
Next, we have Guilford High School's Hannah King, who took 29th in the state in the 100-yard backstroke. She set a new sophomore record at sectionals as well. Congratulations to the 2023 Guilford Vikings girls flag football team for finishing 4th in the state.
Congratulations. Congrats. Thanks for being here.
East High School's running back, Javius Caitlin, broke the all-time NIC 10 career rushing yards record. No? Finally, fine arts. On November 4th, at the Districts 2 and 8 Junior and Senior Orchestra Festival in Moline, representing Auburn High School instructors Marissa Martinez, Beth Hoyer, and Wes Brayback. Senior Orchestra Percussion, Jada Malcolm. Senior Orchestra Double Bass, Lily Parr. Senior Orchestra Cello, Elena Yalacy. On November 11th, the Junior Senior Jazz Festival at Hononegah High School. Representing Auburn, Logan Nally, Senior Jazz Band Trombone. Christina Puzen, Senior Vocal Jazz Soprano. November 18th, Junior Senior Band and Chorus Festival in DeKalb. Representing Auburn High School, Charles Miller, Senior Band Trumpet. Logan Nally, Senior Band Trombone. Kiavani Prasanasuk, Senior Band Clarinet. May Ning, Senior Choir Soprano 2, Jada Malcolm, Senior Choir Alto 2, Norm McCune, Senior Choir Alto 2, Christina Puzen, Senior Choir Soprano 1, Grace Trope, Senior Choir Soprano 1. Representing East High School, Janisha Forrest Black, Senior Band Flute, Brandon Lopez, Senior Band Clarinet. Representing Guilford High School, Victoria Fong, Senior Choir Soprano 1. Jaden Ham, Senior Choir Soprano 2. Elena Newman, Senior Choir Soprano 1. Anna Peachy, Senior Choir Soprano 1. Representing Marshall Middle School, Braden Velez, Senior Band Percussion. Alex Benedicto, Junior Band, Baritone, Saxophone. Anyone here?
If the teachers are here, you can please come up and accept on their behalf.
Oh,
Where
please.
the teachers at? Where y'all at? Come on
We
up.
have instructors. Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
We are so proud of everyone for their amazing accomplishments. Congratulations and thank you for coming tonight.
I will give those exiting a moment to make their exit, and we will proceed. While they're exiting, I want to thank. Any feedback? Thank you. I want to thank you for being so very patient. I do apologize for starting late, but if you have the agenda, you certainly see why. Thank you, Ms. McCall, for starting off the meeting.
One sentence on.
Hi, good evening. I'm Candace Collins, the principal at Montessori School, and I brought some staff members here to talk a little bit about our school and what makes us so unique, and then also to share kind of some of the ways that we're giving back to our community. So Montessori, like I said, has a variety of things that make us so unique. One of the most unique part of us is that we are multi-age classrooms. So students in grade bands of 2 or 3 are in the same classrooms. They're with their same teachers for 2 and 3 years. So we have first graders working alongside third graders. We have fourth graders working alongside sixth graders within the same classroom. Lots of leadership roles, responsibility, opportunities to share what they know with younger students. Our unique curriculum is another huge impact here in our school. It's a curriculum that came from Dr. Maria Montessori 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. Individualized learning. We don't have students learning at the same pace or using the same curriculum at the same time. So they're using various pieces of the curriculum when they're ready for it, alongside our state standards, of course. We are the only district school that houses pre-K through 8th. We have a very low mobility, and currently we have 636 students, so we're a very large school. We have various clubs like Rotary and Student Council. We have a math club and a Readers Anonymous. And our middle schoolers give 20 hours of community service every year, and they're very proud of that. So we teach our students about our community, not just Rockford, but globally. And our students often find ways of their own to raise money, come up with fundraising events that they want to sell, pieces of jewelry or things that they've made to raise money for events and foundations. So it's very important that we learn how to give back to the community. And that's kind of why we wanted to talk today. So this year, our ESL students have given a big donation to Miss Carly. They had a drive school-wide and filled 2 cars full of things for Miss Carly. We had a fun color run at Guilford High School on a beautiful Saturday last spring. It was so much fun. raised over $20,000 and gave 5% of that back to our community. So I just kind of shared some of the pictures that we have. Noah's Ark and the second slide I'll show here in just a second were our biggest fundraisers. Most of the kids wanted to give to these two foundations. So here's us presenting our check, and then Pause was the other one. Women at Risk is an organization that helps human trafficking, women who are human trafficked, and we raised over $2,000 at one of the events we had. It was a parent engagement event, and parents and community members and students and teachers all bought jewelry to raise money for that. That was just a couple weeks ago. And then Ms. Andrews has a couple that she has done in her own classroom, and we'll share with you a little bit about what she's done. There's two of yours.
Okay. Hello. A key component to our Montessori teacher training program is to create a unit for our students, which gives them opportunities to think outside of themselves. So we are encouraged to create learning experiences that give the children an opportunity to give back to their community. So one thing that I've been doing since I've been teaching in Montessori for several years now is we make blankets for Miss Carly's. We donate them. The students are encouraged to come up with the money on their own, whether it's doing little side jobs at home or for their grandparents, their neighbors. One student one year found $10 worth of coins in the back of his mom's car. And so typically we get enough money to make about 15 blankets, and the students do that during their own time, during the school time. And that's a picture of a student there. We involve geometry and math. We're measuring the angles, we're cutting, we're making sure our inches are right. So we're involving a whole lot of different learning opportunities in that one project. And then we've also partnered with the residents at St. Anne's Place, which is right close to our school within walking distance. They have approximately 115 residents. So every holiday we create cards for them, we create artwork for them, and make sure that they have something nice to put up in their rooms and in their hallways. Pre-COVID, we actually took our third graders up and took a walking field trip and spent a day playing games with them. So we played fun games, silly games, we did karaoke, we played Monopoly with them. It was a fantastic opportunity, and I know the residents loved it, and our students got so much out of it. And it was great to see them get out of their comfort zone and really give back to an underserved community right by our school. So we're fortunate to have that. So
I think that's it. We just wanted to say thank you for your support and a little bit about Montessori.
Thank you very much. We are now on to the petition and communication portion of our meeting, where the public is invited to make comments. We do ask that you stay within your 3 minutes allowed. It is not appropriate to discuss matters that will otherwise be confidential in such open meetings. If you look to your left, you will see two clocks. One shows the total time allotted to public comments, and one shows the total time for each speaker. We thank you for your cooperation with these guidelines. I want to just say before I start calling names, if I mispronounce your name, I do apologize. Our first speaker will be Mr. Ricky Naylor, followed by Ms. Ann Rundle.
First of all, I want to, pay my respects to Terry Gano. He passed away. He was one of the guys that always come down here, too, to give you guys a hard time and make this school district better, especially for black students. Okay, my first point is, with this school board here and these administrators and the black community, you had a tipping point. I don't know what is it going to tip to or not, but you guys see it tonight. We don't see a lot of black students coming up getting these awards. And also we don't see a lot of black staff in these administrative roles. So, what is it going to do with that? And the first thing, too, is this school board, even though it's a different school board, you guys still owe a debt to those black students for all those decades of discrimination. And some of these guys been there for 10, 12 years and still have not figured out how we're going to pay these black students back for all the stuff we did to them back in the days to why they not succeed like they should be doing right now. So when can they collect that debt? Anybody know? Never? Tomorrow? Next week? Probably don't know. And also, you guys keep saying that this Thurgood Marshall is a gifted school. If it's a gifted school, then why do they have 59 students that are not even reading at their grade level if it's a gifted school? Why is that? And so you want to figure that out. And also, this white-controlled administration routinely bullies these black staff into complying with what's going on. I mean, you say, like, join the culture. Everybody join the culture. What culture? Why would anybody want to join a culture where less than 47% of the black students graduate? What culture are they joining? You should be trying to create a different culture to where these black students and other students of color are succeeding. But that's not happening. So why join that culture? That don't even make any sense. So make that make sense. And also, when you do hire these black staff tell the other black staff, this is what you do. These are the behaviors you gotta have if you want to get a promotion around here. So that's why you only see a few black staff, because of these only few ones y'all got here willing to play that game and say, this is the behavior you need. You want to get a promotion, then don't act out. Don't be like Mr. Naylor. Don't be like that. Be like this guy. Be like this guy here. And then you'll get ahead. So it's not about talking less about race around here. We need to talk more about it. So when can we have those conversations? Probably never. And like I said, now right now, given the racist rhetoric in this school district right now, we should be more bold to have these conversations about race and other things that still plague this school district. I'll say about 2 minutes, about 2 seconds.
I'll use his 2 seconds to thank Terry Gano for us now having 3 minutes to speak to the board instead of just 2. Maybe we could name this 3 minutes the Terry Gano minutes or something. What do you think? My name is Ann Rundle, and I'm representing Eliminate Racism. We are wondering what is happening. In November of 2022, there were 53 students referred to the Board of Education for exclusion from the Rockford Public Schools. This November, however, 2023, there are 103 student referrals to the Board of Education for exclusion. That should be a red flag to every single board member. You should be asking why. I talk to a lot of students who attend the Rockford Public Schools, and honestly, the most common comment I hear is the teachers don't care whether I pass or not. They will still get a paycheck. I also talk to a lot of teachers who do care, but are frustrated that they are being asked to keep students in their classrooms who are disrupting learning for other students who are trying to learn. Teachers are being made to feel they're not good teachers when they're being asked to do the impossible. I believe we must have interventions and supports in place for students who academically and emotionally need more support than a classroom teacher can realistically provide while teaching the content of their course to a large group of students. Roosevelt is an excellent example of a smaller school that is helping students who need more than a large high school can provide. However, we can't continue to push more and more students into Roosevelt, or it will not be able to be effective either. We need to create another small school similar to Roosevelt so we can meet the needs of more students. Eliminate Racism has consistently been attending most board meetings since December 14th, 2021. Below is data that we have collected at the board meetings we have attended. The data has been trending in the right direction until this board meeting. What actions are you going to take to make sure we're not going to move back in the wrong direction? You may contact me at 815-978-6464 or at annrundle@gmail.com to answer this question. I sure hope to hear from you.
Thank you. Ms. Margot Stedman, followed by Sharazad Shakaya, or I'm sorry? Shakali, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Margot Stedman, and as the Education and Community Engagement Director at the Rockford Symphony Orchestra, it is great to be here on a night where we are celebrating the accomplishments of student musicians in our city. The RSO has been busy partnering with RPS this school year. I attended year-opening meetings with music teachers of all grade levels, have spent time getting to know both Kappa Principal Adam Sinjes and Director of Fine Arts Melissa Wolf. We have done 2 professional development sessions for instrumental music teachers with RSO musicians, coordinated by Laura Schultz, Curriculum Dean of Fine Arts, and look forward to more throughout the year. I was reminded during these sessions that RPS owns instruments for student use as opposed to requiring a rental. This ownership provides broader access to students and should be greatly applauded. This also necessitates a higher level of hands-on instrument maintenance, which requires specific expertise for each instrument. In October, I enjoyed a visit with RSO Music Director Yaniva Tar and guest cellist Effa Baltasagil to Auburn High School Kappa String students under teacher Peter Finnegan. The students were highly engaged, and afterwards, Effa told me it was one of the best outreaches he had ever been a part of. This Friday, December 1st, over 2,200 area students are attending our Nutcracker Student Matinee. I'm disappointed that just 5 of the 29 schools attending, or approximately 30% of the students, are coming from RPS schools. I am hopeful that RPS attendance will represent a larger percentage for our spring youth concert in April. It's always a pleasure to publicly celebrate the many good things that are happening in our schools. I look forward to sharing more details of my experiences so far this year with you all over email to paint a more complete picture of where I believe there is also opportunity for growth. I personally, along with the entire staff and board of the RSO, look forward to continuing to support music education for the students and teachers in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shahrazad Shakali. This is my first year at Rockford Public Schools, 7th year teaching. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction about myself. I grew up in the Rockford Public School system up until 6th grade. That was 3 years after 9/11, and I moved back to the Middle East because of RPS and my experiences here. Teachers mocked my culture and mocked my religion as they allowed students to do the same. I was labeled as a terrorist, and I decided to become an educator so that if an Arab student is ever in my classroom, they know that they are capable of much more. I am here to talk to you about the disappointment I have because I thought that Rockford would have been better by now. The Arab population has grown. You have to translate things into Arabic on the school website, so that speaks to the numbers of Arab students in this community. I also have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction with a focus in social justice education. I obtained this master's degree a couple of years ago, so I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to culture implementation in the curriculum. In addition to that, I studied abroad at Oxford University for a semester. Going back to my experiences here at Rockford, on October 7th, a genocide in Palestine began. A few days later, a young boy named Wadir El-Fayoum was stabbed 26 times in his home in Chicago for being Arab by his landlord. What has RPS done for our Arab students to let them know that they are protected here from hate crimes and hate speech? The answer is nothing. I've spoken to my administrator. I've spoken to your chief officer of communications. I've sent emails. I've requested that you create a space for these students. I have requested that you inform our community of what is going on in Israel and Palestine, because the hate crimes and the hate speech is at a rise, because people do not know what's going on. Fear is the strongest emotion. When people are afraid, they do horrible things. And right now, you're allowing that fear to increase in Rockford. I attended the protest and I witnessed hatred. There were 3 boys killed for wearing a kufiya, a scarf, 3 days ago in Ohio. This is happening in our backyard. Our curriculum does not do anything. You guys have done nothing to support my people. You've allowed the mockery to continue.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time for speaking.
I do have one more thing to say, and I apologize for that. No, I need you to hear this.
I need you to respect the 3 minutes we have granted you.
I understand, but I also need you to hear the fact that I'm teaching.
I need you to respect the 3 minutes we have granted you. Thank you. Elizabeth Hand, followed by Julie Hatch.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Hand. I am an instructional coach at McIntosh Elementary and a Rockford resident and taxpayer. I am here tonight to ask the board to consider taking more assertive actions to address the secondary trauma our teachers are experiencing, leading to teacher burnout in Rockford. Teachers are leaving the profession for a variety of reasons. Compensation, unrealistic expectations, student behaviors, and the inability to protect their well-being are among them. The climate of the teaching profession has changed. The sub-shortage is real. Teachers are missing plan times daily because they have to cover classes. This loss of plan time is detrimental to effective planning for instruction and implementation of curriculum. Additionally, student behaviors due to severe trauma are exhausting teachers. Students have become more physically and verbally aggressive to their teachers. I know not one other profession where being sworn at, hit, bit, kicked, pushed, and spit on is accepted or tolerated. These students deserve intensive social, emotional support that our system is failing to provide. Teachers are not trained or prepared for these behaviors of these children who are experiencing this trauma. It is important also to incentivize and encourage teachers to stay in high-need schools and in education in general. I call on the board to consider the following. Utilize certified staff at central office to sub in buildings on a rotating basis where there is the most need. This would go a long way in building trust and communication between central office and the field. Provide weekly or monthly on-site therapy sessions, as well as paid gym memberships to address the mental and physical health of our staff. Offer a paid master's in curriculum with the emphasis on trauma and informed care. Consider designing an elementary alternative program that addresses the severe trauma and conduct disorders we see from many students while still giving them access to curriculum. These children need intensive social emotional support and tools that our current SEL curriculum is not addressing. Reevaluate the use of the teacher vacancy grant funds to incentivize current and future teachers in high-need, hard-to-staff schools, and reevaluate the current student code of conduct and how its implementation is negatively impacting the safety and well-being of staff and students. If the board and district does not begin to aggressively address teacher burnout and student behaviors related to trauma, we will continue to lose good people. It's time the district recognizes and responds to the mounting issues that prevent us from meeting the expectations set by our community and the state. I also encourage you, open a dialogue with those of us in the field who can give you a true representation of the daily life of a teacher in Rockford Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Hi, I'm Julie. I'm a school social worker in the district. Kind of just to piggyback after what Elizabeth said, I came to RPS 6 years ago, and it was the best kept secret. I loved it. I told my colleagues in my other district, come to RPS. You are respected as a social worker. You get to go to PD on SIP days. You are surrounded by your colleagues. You don't have to babysit the naughty kids. RPS, what happened? 5 years now, it is not that place. We don't get to do anything for school improvement days. The demands put on all educators in this district is unreachable. From the administration and buildings to lower the discipline and suspensions, but as our chief of police stated outside East last April when the ACT shutdown happened, this is not an RPS issue. This is a city issue. This is a Rockford issue with the crime that we have. Please don't put that on all the educators to be hit and spit and kicked and swore. And then they come back the next day and we have to be professional. And we have to be the one to smile and say, good job, I'm glad you're here. Because we are educators. But the educator shortage that we have right now isn't because people don't like the kids. Educator shortage is not because there's not, teachers out there saying, I want to make a difference. It's because they get here and they're not respected. They're not respected by downtown. The board, we feel like you are a new board, so hopefully you can come out to us as we begin negotiations for next contract. Please come out, see the building, see what we experience every day, because it's been a big difference in the 6 years that I've been at RPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Altamirano, followed by Kyle Wolf.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about for teachers who we have to deal with newcomers. This is a subject that I've been talking to several bilingual teachers in my building and throughout the district. As a bilingual teacher, when we get newcomers, we are not even notified that they're coming, but yet we're expected to serve them as much as we can and as we can. But the problem that I have with that is that they're thrown into our classrooms and we get no support from the bilingual department. I've sent numerous emails to Ruth Sanchez, to Misael about the newcomers. There should be like a program where it helps them and it helps us, because I don't know if you guys realize, when we get newcomers as bilingual teachers, we get no support. And yet they come into our classrooms, and if we start teaching in English, it takes a lot of our time to translate everything that we have to teach them into their native language. And again, as a teacher, as a bilingual teacher, I feel like I'm not getting the support from the bilingual department. And also, in our classroom, we have an overage when it comes to bilingual students. And if you guys don't know what that is like, I would invite any one of you to go see a bilingual classroom, especially where we have newcomers. I have 5 newcomers this year, and that's not counting 3 that came last year. So that means 8 out of 29 students that I have. And yet I am required to serve them, and I am required to teach them to the best that I can, which I do, but it's a big problem. Then you call the parent liaison, and they're like, well, downtown says that they have a newcomer program. Where is the newcomer program? I haven't seen any newcomer program. All they do is they throw them into our classroom with no support. They need more support. A lot of them suffer trauma. When I get a new student that comes from another country, one of the first things that I do is ask them about their personal life. Hey, why are you coming here? A lot of them, their parents were killed in wherever they were coming from, or they come here with just one parent and the other parent stays wherever, or in Honduras, in Guatemala, wherever, and they're separated from their siblings. So I want RPS to do something about that and to help us as teachers, give us that support and give them that support, because a lot of them, as I'm teaching in English, this new curriculum that we have, all they can do is sit there and just stare. And it hurts me because I want to serve and I want to help them as much as I can, but I don't have those resources that I believe I should get from the bilingual department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kyle Wolf, and for 17 years I've dedicated myself to Roosevelt Community Education Center. It's been an incredible journey working with Roosevelt students, and it's rewarding. And I believe many of my colleagues share this sentiment. However, there's a persistent misunderstanding about Roosevelt students. They often are labeled as bad kids, a stereotype that couldn't be further from the truth. These students are remarkable, facing unimaginable challenges and often living with general anxiety disorders due to their previous experiences, and yet they persevere. My passion for Roosevelt and its students stems from the relationships I build, and building trust and connections with students takes time, especially with the unique challenges these students bring. Time is a precious resource that many Roosevelt teachers find themselves lacking due to recent changes at Roosevelt. The increasing demands of data collection for progress monitoring have compromised our ability to offer the time needed for individual attention to our students. I firmly believe that the shift towards prioritizing the timely attainment of academic milestones over addressing the social emotional needs of our students has significantly impacted the quality of care we can now provide to students at Roosevelt. In order to achieve these academic expectations in our students, Roosevelt teachers are now required to take attendance 3 times per instructional hour, utilizing 3 separate online platforms. I will say that again. We take attendance 3 times per hour. Consequently, teachers face the difficult choice of either reducing contact time with students in favor of focusing on hourly attendance or sacrificing their planning and grading time. I'm speaking out today because I believe it's crucial to redirect our focus. We must reconsider the current trajectory of Roosevelt to once again prioritize the social-emotional well-being of our students. And I urge you to engage with the ongoing changes at Roosevelt. Seek diverse perspectives, as opinions among administrators and staff will differ. My hope is that we can unite, objectively assess these issues, and find fair solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. John Tag Bradley. Mr. Bradley.
I want to take this time to recognize Chicago Bears, even though I got the other jersey on. We finally won a game. But right now I want to go back and thank the community, and I'm going to piggyback off of everything what these teachers just said. I want to thank the community. I need the church van. We need to raise $5,000 for a church van. We wind up in less than 4 weeks. We raised over $4,000 from people in the community giving us $5 and $10. Even some of the faculty members, the school faculty members gave us some funds. By the end of the 4th week, we was at $1.07 short from $5,000 from getting the church van. The union stepped up, gave us $1,000. Other unions stepped up and gave us $500. Mind you, I'm not a politician. Mind you, I don't own a building. But for everyone to recognize what Renewal Turning Point is doing in the community, providing transportation for our kids, and working with our hardcore kids for the after-school program. Right now, I'm transporting 4 different elementary schools to kids, transporting them to school. Our top priority was dealing with absenteeism, suspension, expulsion, and social promotion in the school system. They put out a grant, a transportation grant, and also an after-school program grant, which we already doing, but we not getting the funding for. We would have been addressing the kids that need to get to school, the kids that haven't have a hard time getting to school. But most of all, dealing with the after-school program program because we have a lot of our kids that have no respect for adults. We have a lot of our parents that have no respect for the school administrators or for the system, period, and they cover up some of their kids' negative behavior. The only thing I have to say about the school system, I resent the fact that in order, the students have taken advantage of the school system by I call it another word of soliciting or terrorizing the school, where they giving them gifts to keep them to behave right. You should not have to give no kid no gift for them to act right in the classroom. And whatnot. I am totally against that. Our program, and by you being the board president, the person that was going to run against you was going to run my program. She did not run against you because she wanted to run this after-school program. Well, we have been addressing the absenteeism. We have been addressing the disrespect that the kids have in the school, the disrespect that the parents have. But we can't do that by ourselves. But we're going to do it with or without you. But we're going to make a change in this here community. The school can't do it by themselves. The community can't do it by themselves. The board can't do it by themselves. But if we was to work together, we can do it as a whole, and we can make this here happen. But instead, they drag their feet. My man over here, I'm wondering whether or not I'm in the courtroom, because he tell me to be quiet, but everybody else can clap and what have you. So I'm going to end my conversation by saying that my voice...
Your time is up, sir. Respect the 3 minutes given. Thank you.
I'll be back. I got my van.
Thank you to all the speakers. We are now on action items. Is there a motion and a second to approve item 4A, audited financial statement?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to approve item 4B, BMO Center?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Item 5A is the determination and approval of tentative 2023 tax levy. Dr. Brown?
Okay, as requested from the committee of the whole meeting, we brought forward 3 options for the board to consider, and we do need action on one of the 3 options. The first one is to hold the tax levy flat, essentially just taking the tax on new property. The second one would be to capture 2.5% of the allowed consumer price index increase. And the third option would be to capture the maximum allowable CPI increase of 5%. Our recommendation is to go with option number 1, which is to hold the levy flat and only take the increase on new property.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. So he has given us 3 options. So of the 3, then we need to vote on 1. So can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
I wasn't quite finished. Thank you very much. So can I get a second and a motion to for the, to hold flat.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Discussion first, please.
Discussion, yes. Discussion. Mr. Carpenter?
Thank you. Just to be clear, that's holding flat except for the new property increase. That's option 1 as presented, correct? That's what the motion is? Yes. Thank you.
Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 5B, Green Our Planet Grant?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 5C, School Maintenance Project Grant Application?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 5D, which is the extension. I'm sorry? Yes. One moment, please. Which was the mentoring agreement, have been pulled. It does not mean it will not return at some point. Thank you. Excuse me. We are now on the consent portion of our meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the items listed in paragraph 6, Performance and Monitoring Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any consent items in paragraph 6 that the board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
May I please have, sorry, one moment, please. A second and a motion and a second to approve the items listed in paragraph 7 of the Governance Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any consent items in paragraph 7 that board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
We are now at the closed session consent agenda. for student discipline. B007X24, expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year through first semester of 24-25 school year. H0010X24, expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0011X24 through H0013X24 are expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H001624 through H0024X24. Correction, that's longer. H0019X24. The expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon an expulsion in advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H002024 expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0021X24 the expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon the expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0022X24 expelled for the remainder 23-24 school year. H0024X24, the expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon the expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 2023 through 2024 school year. H0026X24, expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0027X24, the expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon the expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0028X24 is expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year through first semester of 24-25 school year. H0029X24, correction, 29-24 through, H0030X, H0031X24, and H0032X24 are expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year through the first semester of 24-25 school year. H0035X24, the expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon the expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year. H0037 24, expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. P0025X24, the expulsion is held in advance, contingent upon the expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year. P0026X24 through P0030X24 are expelled. That's correct, thank you. P0026X24, P0027X24, P0028X24, and P0030X24 are expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year. P0034, 24, and P0035X24 are expelled for the remainder of the 23-24 school year. P0074X through P0081X24 are expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year, the entire 24-25 school year through November 27, 2025. That is 2 calendar years from the date of board action. T002X24 expelled for the remainder of 23-24 school year through the entire 24-25 school year. P004A 24, the 2-day suspension is affirmed. Is there a motion and a second to approve items in paragraph 9?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any items in paragraph 9 the board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? There's no discussion. Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
We are now on to student discipline EIAs. Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to approve items in paragraph 10, letters A through LLL, as presented and detailed in the November 28-23 agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any items in paragraph 10 that the board wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Ms. Bennett?
Yes, can I please have KK, which is P0042-24 pulled, and then letters MM, so P044-24, we can pull them together.
I'm going to ask you to repeat that.
Okay. KK.
My system is not acting right.
No problem. KK, which is P0042-24, and then letter MM, which is P0044-24.
Please call the roll not pulled in paragraph 10.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Consent item KK and MM have been pulled for separate consideration. Do I have a motion and a second to approve consent items KK and MM?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett,
Abstain.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Ms. Haley,
Yes.
Ms. Stanford,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Mr. Schubert.
Yes.
The motion passes with 6 yeses, 1 abstain.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Superintendent's report. Dr. Jarrett.
Thank you, Board President Pearson. I would like to cede my time to our student representative, Ms. Jessica Garcia, who is going to be sharing her perspective based on the Committee of the Whole meeting as well as tonight's meeting. I want to thank you for coming tonight, and the floor is yours.
All right. All right, before I start off, I've been an RPS student my whole life and a proud member of the Creative and Performing Arts program, which has given me wonderful opportunities and has truly made me into the student I am today. I'd also like to thank Dr. Jarrett and the board for having me at the last meeting and also at this meeting. I've learned so much valuable information concerning various subjects. However, one discussion that stood out to me last meeting was the one regarding teen dating policy. One comment in particular really stood out to me, which was when acts of abuse happen, the first person a student would likely go to isn't an administrator, teacher, or parent, it's their close friends. When I first heard this, I remember the feeling of having to go to trusted adults when my friends experienced mistreatment at the hands of their partners. Although I knew I was doing the right thing, part of me couldn't help but feel like I was making the situation worse, like I had somehow betrayed their trust. Even when I did this, how could I ensure I didn't make the situation worse? How can I ensure my friend actually got the help they needed and that the cycle of abuse ended there? As discussions further, I hope something that is considered is giving students who report abuse proper resources to ensure their friends are helped and preventing the cycle of abuse from occurring any longer. As Vice President, I hope to lead discussions at our future SSAC meetings on the subject of teen dating within our schools and how we as student leaders can hopefully lead discussions at our own schools. I also hope to take comments and issues from this meeting and discuss them with my peers. The insight I've gained from listening from board members and community members has given me a lot to bring back to the council, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica. That was a very thoughtful reaction to both board meetings, and we really appreciate your service on the Superintendent's Advisory Council and look forward to those policy discussions. Now I'd like to cede the remainder of my time to Dr. Gallagher to share an update on how our schools performed in our system-wide framework. Dr. Gallagher.
Thank you. I understand you all have to go back into closed session after this open session, so I've been advised to keep this to no more than 45 minutes. Just for context, if you guys remember, in Committee of the Whole at the beginning of the month, I presented to all of you our ISB summative designations and the scores that we had received at each of our scores and how that was calculated for our schools. In the meantime, over the course of November, we had also opened up opportunities for board members, which a majority of you took advantage of, to be able to have some one-on-one sessions to dig a little bit deeper, not only into the ISB designations, but also the internal metrics that we use in our system-wide framework, what we call our standards of practice, which are our lead indicators for our performance for those ISB designations. I know it was recently, a question was asked, what do you guys mean when you say lead lag indicators? When we get our ISB designation, we don't get that score until October 30th. So that's lag data. That means it's delayed data. We have to have school improvement plans in place before October 30th. Well in advance, because we have all the professional development that we need to do over the summer to prepare for the execution of our school improvement plans that we have this year. So oftentimes that data that we receive from the state, because it is so delayed, because there is a lag, it's not as useful for us. So we balance that lag data that we get with lead data. This is data that allows us to be more preventative, more proactive. It's data that teachers, staff, administrators are able to more responsively adjust and pivot during the school year in order to improve student outcomes, which should in turn improve performance on those lag indicators that we get so delayed from the state. So given that context, going to our equity imperative, you guys see in virtually every presentation that we provide to you There's the generic map, the infographic that shows that we are currently a map of a lot of red and yellow schools with a couple of green and blue schools. And through our equity imperative, wanting to interrupt predictability of student outcomes based off of zip code, we want to go to that infographic that's primarily the blue and green schools. We are currently in year 3 of our strategic plan, so we have 2 years of data in the books where we're combining our lag indicators from the ISB school designations balanced with the lead indicators that are the standards of practice to get our overall school ratings. In our baseline year 2 years ago, this is what our map looked like. And it does not look like we're interrupting predictability of student outcomes based off a zip code. After last year, this is what that map looks like. Certainly still work to do, but moving in the right direction. We have 3 buckets of standards of practice that are our internal measures for those lead indicators for how we're performing, and they are quality instruction, quality relationships, and strategic decision making. We've created internal dashboards that are able to be used by school-based staff in order to drill down on the performance of those standards of practice so that they can see the breakdown. If reading horizons, that first line as an example, if I'm scoring a 3, I can click on that 3 and I could see the rubric that's designed that shows me how I got the 3. But importantly, if I want to move to a 4, it becomes very clear the steps that we would need to take to get from a 3 to a 4. This is very busy looking for you, please do not be alarmed, but this is taking those standards of practice in the top portion, pairing those with the performance on the ISB school designations or the ISB report cards so that you can see at the very bottom when you combine those two, that bottom row is showing you what that school performance is, both as a numerical value going from a 0 to 4, but also with that color coding of blue, green, yellow, and red. And because everyone has had the opportunity to see these slides, I'll go through them very briefly. But if you have questions at the end, I'm happy to answer. Here you can see K through 5. This is the performance year over year from year 1 to year 2 of the strategic plan across all of the standards of practice for elementary. Here we have it for middle school, high school, special programs, finally early childhood. As a reminder, this is a breakdown of how the school ratings are calculated. It is 1 part scorecard and 1 part standards, and depending on your level and circumstance, like if you're a special program or charters, you can see what that breakdown is. A reminder of where we're at after last year. So you can see that we now have 2 blue schools, whereas we had 1, 8 green schools, whereas we had 6, and we significantly improved in moving red schools into the yellow. Here you can see by school the breakdown of the points values that they've received for their scorecard coupled with their standards, and the schools are named at the bottom there so that you can see the number of red, yellow, green, and blue schools. And here is the breakdown from year over year, year 1 to year 2. So we went from 16 red schools to 6, yellow 22 to 24. That increases, of course, because we had so many red schools moving into yellow. Green we had 2 to 9, and blue we had 1 to 2. This is that breakdown by levels, so elementary, middle, high school, early childhood, and special programs. Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Schubert.
I think, just looking at this and when we had the one-on-one, I think we just need to be really strategic and intentional with how we're approaching the middle schools based on this data. Because it just feels like a little bit of a dark cloud that's going to go into high school, because those kids need interventions and they need to make sure that they're getting the supports they need so we can continue the progress. I don't want to see any, slippage. I don't think, yeah, that's a word. It's getting late.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Before I go to the last agenda item, so my system, board docs, was acting up. On 7, the consent item 7D, pulled by administration, is the amendment to the superintendent's contract. So we did pull the mentor from a previous meeting, but item 7D is what that's on today's board doc, is the superintendent's contract.
Excuse me. The mentoring was on the agenda also as being pulled, so that they were both pulled from today.
Right. Okay. Just want to clarify that. I hope we didn't confuse you too much, Ms. Farr. Got it. We are now on the last agenda item. Do any board members have action steps or other business, new business or agenda recommendations or any other matters to discuss? Go ahead, Mr. Carpenter.
I just wanted to report back on the IASB conference, and I participated as a delegate at the delegate assembly, and there were some resolutions that were presented to us and were voted on at the assembly, and so I just wanted to report back how we voted and what the results of those were. Just real quick, there were only 2 that were, well, there were 3 that were voted on, 2 were recommended to be passed, and we voted in favor of. One was school resource officer funding, so it's a resolution asking the General Assembly to approve funding to all school districts for school resource officer. We voted on that. That resolution passed, so that'll be presented to the General Assembly as being something that Illinois Association of School Boards wants. And the second one was regarding bus driver regulations, returning licensing requirements and driver training liability back to pre-February 2023 levels, and allow for local training and testing for bus driver candidates. And we voted in favor of that, and that also passed, so that'll go to as a resolution to the General Assembly. So I just want to report back on those things. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for reporting back. So actually, in terms of agenda recommendations at the committee of the whole, for those who attended, who attended the joint conference, is being asked to kind of report what you attended and your takeaway from it. And in addition to items in regards to actual proof, for lack of a better word, that you attended what was offered in the conference. It was brought to my attention that, the district is paying for conferences, but do we really know that they went to Florida and attended the conference? So that was a concern. So I thought the board would lead out on what you attended and your takeaway from it at the committee of the whole. Anyone else?
I have
Bennett.
I have an agenda item addition. There was some discussion back and forth about it wherever it most appropriately fits. I don't know if Dr. Jarrett wants to weigh in, but presentation on Handle with Care. So implementation, follow-up, kind of the current process and then the process moving forward. So I think performance and monitoring is where Dr. Jarrett suggested. He's giving a thumbs up. So for performance and monitoring, that to be a presentation with follow-up. Thank you.
You are welcome. I also had that conversation with Dr. Jarrett, so I'm sure. Actually, I had asked, we'll discuss it more for the committee of the whole agenda item on the Handle with Care. Anyone else? Okay, it is now 8:39. I would like to make a motion and a second to reconvene into closed session. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye.